Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive. Happy new moon in Taurus. This is the fifth and final super new moon of 2024. We have had them consistently every month since January. It is 5 for a reason. If you want to check out the breakdown of the last 5 supermoons and really have a deeper understanding or validation and confirmation of your own knowing, you can pop over to my blog. It will be linked in the pinned comments. And I just want to dive into this community channeling and card pulls that we did for the new moon that I was really guided to do with Spirit. It's a very potent, feminine, powerful Taurian energy that's happening right now. So let's dive in. I was told to use the cards and to channel in tandem with them whatever messages needed to come through for the new moon, because all of you know your different way of manifesting, but we're introducing, it's funny. So this is interesting. So I also had a recent private session with somebody, and I was reminded of the Lakshmi channel on YouTube that was, I want to say it was 6 to 8 months ago. And I'll link it for you guys. And it was about the embodiment of the energy of the goddess Lakshmi. And that was just revisited because I feel like it has to do with this new moon energy. There's a more softness to it. There's a more ease and a flow. It's not abrupt. It's not like we're spinning our wheels like this to create anything. It's almost like a natural flowing down the river or down the waterfall. That's the energy of it. I do feel like this is because it's highly feminine energy. Like feminine energy is creation. And instead of us doing it always in this 3D form of like work, 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 go, 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 plan, 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 build, 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 it's almost like settling into the embodiment of that receiving and creating, right, through this new moon energy. So it feels much more feminine. It feels softer. It feels easier. And I'm also being told, Ava says this is because the energy is more aligned in a higher frequency. When we embody the feminine energy of receiving, you naturally are able to manifest on a new moon, because manifesting is not just about bringing it into your world. You must be open and receptive to the receiving of the thing you wish to manifest. She says there are many structures in the current manifestation systems that don't always take into account the feminine receptivity that's required. You can do yang action as much as you want to, and you should incorporate that as part of your manifestation. It is the natural way to create on the earth plane. But to super amplify your manifestations on this new moon from a fifth dimensional concept or way, from your balanced internal divine feminine energy, balance with your divine masculine energy within you. This allows you to take the actions, but this new moon is particular because you're also receiving the manifestation spiritually on a soul level prior to it physically showing up in the 3D world, pardon me. And there's a number of different nuances to that. And I could tag it onto all kinds of things like the dimensions. If you guys didn't get my email that I sent out to my email list there, it's on the blog too. But it just talked about this is the last super new moon. They're all super new moons from January to May. So that's 5. And what's fifth dimension? It's your I am presence. And what's your I am presence is where you're in your power. Of course I can manifest this because now I'm able to receive it because I've healed the wounds based on the root where I couldn't receive because it was too hard. People took advantage. I had to do all the work. We had all these stories, but we've been clearing that out with 5 new moons in a row. This one, because it's in Taurus, is significant. Taurus is very material. It's very earthy. It's very grounded. It's very powerful. I want you to think about when you're in your I am presence, where you are both willing to give and receive, when you know your worth, when you suddenly recognize, I can manifest anything I want to. I can live any life I want to. That's personal power. When we're manifesting from a state of personal power, we are already in the mode of receptivity because we understand our power is a flowing, they're showing it's like a circle, a flowing circle of energy circulating it. The other thing I wish to say is In addition, when you're manifesting fifth dimensionally, you're manifesting from the soul, you're manifesting from your power. And as Florence SCOVEL-SHINN says, power moves, but cannot be moved. She says, translate this. They all want to join in now, and I'm just going to roll with it. The statement of power moves, but cannot be moved. I want you to think about what I'm manifesting as a feminine, just as a feminine on this earth plane. How many times have I had to be agreeable? How many times have you had to be agreeable? Side note. So let's just think about that. How many times have you had to be agreeable? How many times have the things you wanted to manifest kind of got swayed or moved because there was other people involved? Maybe it would have upset somebody else. Maybe you had to detach from somebody else. But when you're in your power, you're the one that moves the manifestation forward. And your power and your manifestation can't be moved, if that makes sense. It's just coming through as power is not this big, strong thing. That's not power. That's not the power I'm talking about. I'm talking about the power within, which is that receptivity of the feminine and taking the actions along with it. So not only are we receiving our creations we want to bring in from this new fifth dimensional consciousness and inner balance, we're then taking a balanced yang action that's no longer being distorted by our divine feminine, which then reciprocates all the way back around to our divine feminine of receiving the manifestation. And we know we're going to manifest it because we already know we're in receiving mode for that state of being or that embodiment. So this new moon is very feminine because it's Taurus energy. Go back, go back, go back. They're saying because it's Taurian energy, and Taurus is the second house. And I always look at the second house as sacral, the sacral chakra energy center. That's our money. That's our creativity. That's our abundance. That's our sexuality. That's our sensuality. That's also linked to our past lives. And what have we all been dealing with and healing all this time, right? We're healing our past lives, our wounding that's gone through our families. It ends with us, which means we create a whole new embodiment of manifestations. We're no longer manifesting from that less empowered or a disempowered state because of the distorted wounds of the past that we've experienced. So that's why this new moon is so powerful. It's so potent. It's so beautiful. And it's got a kind of magic that I can't put my finger on. It's got this kind of magic where the seed is bigger. The seeds we plant are clearer. It's like they're coated in stardust. And I'm hearing destiny, destiny. It's almost like the seeds that you plant now, because you've done this work on yourself, because you're in your power. It's almost like the seeds you plant now can't do anything but manifest. They're imbued with divine power, your power. They're clear. They're wrapped in stardust. They're bigger. And they're being planted in fertile ground. That's what they're saying. Not only is the seed not more grandiose, it's more powerful because it's more whole and it's more embodied and it's clear. But not only that, we're planting it in more fertile land. So I want you to think about the womb of the divine feminine, because we're rolling with divine feminine energy here. Oh my gosh, here's the first card out. You guys see that? Butterflies. Number 2. I love this deck. It's so pretty. So this is the Litha Seasons of the Witch deck. It says, here is the unknown. You will find the essence of who you really are and what magic truly is awaiting you. So it's like that butterfly stage, moving from the cocoon, planting the seeds, the Beltane and the feminine. And I feel like you're already out of the cocoon, which means if you've spread your wings from butterfly, you're not the caterpillar that's planting caterpillar seeds anymore. You're the butterfly who's now planting butterfly seeds. And listen, you can't speak butterfly language to caterpillar people. They're not going to get it, right? They're not going to get it because they're not at that point. And so too, were we at one point, at that point too, where we were all caterpillars on our journey and moving through different stages and phases. The butterfly could have spoke to us and we would have looked at it like, I see you and I want to become that, but I don't understand. We are at this, and that's number 2, Taurian energy. It's time to root and plant those, bring them into the physicality on the earth plane. And that requires the feminine energy of the creation. Think about the womb. If we go to, back up, says Ava. If we go to this idea of this fertile ground, we're now planting all these seeds in. There's been a frequency shift. There's been a cosmic shift. There's been a change in the energy. There's been a change in the momentum. And I wish to highlight, yes, this is a cosmic shift that's been pushing us, but what it also is we're a collective consciousness. If you've got 15% of the collective consciousness, it just raised to a higher frequency. And the cosmic shift just changed and everybody's frequency slightly rose. That means everything rises. We're all coming from a more fertile ground, or maybe a greater awareness. And that may not encompass everybody on the earth plane, but they're affected whether they know it or not, because we're all physically, tangibly here on Gaia. And she's gone through massive frequency shifts and changes in the last year and a half. She's been going through them all the time, but they've been the most significant. That's why we've had so many natural disasters as well in the last year and a half. That's because her frequency is changing. The cosmic, the universal atmospheric aspects are changing as well, which means us as a collective consciousness that inhabits Gaia and is affected by the external shifts, we are shifted and changed too. So this new fertile ground we are planting on in our new seeds is a higher frequency. It contains more power and more nutrients compared to the old wounding, the barren land. Think about the feminine, the womb, right? When you think about somebody who's unable to have children, what's the feeling they often have? They called them barren women. They were barren, as if they weren't of value, or that made them less female. I'm not sure who that's coming for on here, but that's how it's coming through. Some people would view that as the barren ground. Well, think about how barren this ground was that we were previously planting our seeds in, when we had all of our wounds, all of the lack, all of the hurt, the inability to receive. That created barren soil, barren land. But when we heal those things and we pour back into the ground, we now have all the different, I'm seeing the scientific periodic table where they list out all the different minerals and all those things and the different acronyms for them. That's what they're showing me. They're saying the periodic table, I think, is what it's coming through as. They're showing me this table, and why are they showing me this? They're saying these are all the nutrients that are required. These are all the minerals. These are all the different states and things that are required for a rich and fertile land to be planted on, for us to thrive rather than finding things to survive. The reason why this new moon is important is because it is not about you creating things. It's not about you building something outside of you. It's about you pouring into you, because not only are you the seed you are planting, you are also the land you are planting the seed within. When you nourish you, when you focus on you, when you say, I'm here helping everybody else, and now you know what? I'm going to come back to me and I'm going to nourish me and fill me. You just planted the biggest, most massive, abundant seed of creation into some of the most fertile land you will ever find for your manifestations. Because what's manifestation? It's not outside of us. It's inside of us. The seed grows within us. We are the land. We are the seed and the land. We are the bringer of that. As a divine feminine, we have to be able to receive that, nourish it where it needs to be, and then grow it. And in refocusing on me, replenishes my cup so much that now the seed is clearer. And in the fourth quarter moon phase, I want you to think about last week, and it was about planning what's been working, what isn't working or doesn't work anymore. And we were just reorganizing it so that when we came to this moment of this new moon, we would already have identified what needs to go. I don't need to go. I don't need to send you an email every other day to let you know, hey, Erin's emailing you so I can stay in your inbox. I do not need to do that. And if there isn't something relevant or I'm not guided to do it, I'm not going to send you 10,000 emails, because that's just not how I work. That's also not divine feminine manifesting. That's very masculine manifesting, right? So there's a big difference between how we roll and do that. The thing that's really becoming clear is, if you think about fifth dimensional manifesting from the soul, manifesting from the soul star chakra down into the earth plane. Here on the earth plane, we're taught to build from the ground up. That's very masculine yang, right? Building, action, ground up. As a feminine, we draw it down and it permeates, rooted down onto the earth plane. So these are all different nuances, and I'm just going to trust that they're touching on little pinpointed things for each of you individually. I'm also being shown multicolored roses, specifically yellows, oranges, reds, and pinks. These are the earthly chakra energy centers. These are the places that we've been healing and holding, calling back our power. That's where we root and ground it onto the earth plane, right? Is through those lower earthly chakras. So it's kind of like we've been drawing down our divine creations and wanting to manifest them. But if these, from the heart down, if any of these, even the throat, the etheric template, if these have issues or there's a blockage or an imbalance, how are you going to root down the thing you want to manifest so that it comes into your awareness, I guess you could say. That's kind of how it's coming through. And I'm being told to give the reference of gardens and roses and greenery and abundance. Like if I'm planting a seed from this state of feminine manifesting, if I'm planting a seed, think of Beltane and the fires and the celebration. Inside the seed, I'm seeing the harvest already there. They're giving me the imagery of, if this is my seed and I want to plant this one thing, let's say you want to buy a new house. If this is my seed that I'm planting and I'm setting an intention on a new moon, you know what? I'm intending to purchase a new house. Spirit, show me the easiest way to do that. However you divine it through, pulling cards, actively taking actions towards it. Manifesting this from a fifth dimensional consciousness in the feminine receptivity of drawing down and manifesting that spiritual reality in a physical, tangible form. Inside the seed, I already see the house. Inside the seed, the garden's already bloomed. And because we spent last week doing that fourth quarter phase of what's working, what's not working, right? What do I need to do less of? I need to do less of fractalizing myself out to everybody else. And I need to do more of pouring into me, because as I pour into me, my garden grows within, and then there's way more blossoms and buds in the garden because I focus the seed as the harvest, right? Yes, it's a seed, but why do we plant a seed? Why do we manifest? Why do we set intentions? Because we want a result. We want a harvest. But sometimes we plant the seed and we forget about the harvest, right? We forget we've got to weed it out. We forget we got to water it. We forget it needs a little bit of nitrate over here, or it needs a little bit of this over there because the soil isn't quite balanced. You're the lands of all your manifestations where all your seeds are planted. And this particular new moon, because we've metamorphosized through these stages of 5 new supermoons, 5 in a row, all 5 dimensions. That's why it's been so crazy for all of us, right? It has been. It's been a wild journey with amazing things, new things, letting go of old things, some uncomfortable things, lots of epiphanies. For some of us, lots of emotions. For some of us, it's the past has been coming back. But that's because we're moving through all these dimensions so that we have a more fertile, whole, empowered landscape, which is the internal body, to be able to plant these seeds. Right now, we're not planting regular manifestation seeds. It's not the same. It's like a super cycle is what I'm hearing. Previously, a month ago, or maybe it was just a few weeks ago, I said we were starting a new 12-year cycle. That's kind of what this is in alignment with, right? All 12 houses, 12-year cycle, and a fifth dimensional seed planting. If we're starting a brand new cycle, you're darn straight, your seeds are going to be more powerful, bigger, covered in stardust, in its own power, the fertile land to plant it in so that it actually flourishes and thrives. That's the new cycle. It's a completely different way of doing things because we are embodied in a different way. What's the soul star chakra? Think about it. It's above the crown. If we have our crown chakra here, I always look at it as that's the crown jewel, because when we've been embodying our state of a queen, like, hey, queen, you're wearing your crown, which means you're divining all of this through you in a co-creative tandem with spirit. The crown is wearing your crown. Some people look at it as wearing the crown as like the idea of Jesus or a biblical sense or a status. But this is a personal status. I don't care what the status is for everybody else, how they perceive me. When I'm wearing my crown, I know I wear my crown, and that's my status. And when I'm manifesting from the crown, I'm drawing from the soul star chakra, infinity, the number 8. This is the year. This is a leap year. Also number 8. and the year of the dragon, right? So all these things are combining together. Your soul star chakra is what allows that to be embodied. And I haven't pulled one card yet. So let's grab this other deck here. Oh, first card out. Devi Ma Kali, or Devi Ma Kali. Notice it's the baby. Notice it's our rebirth. Notice the crescent new moon, golden. Notice the universe and the two hands holding them up. For those of you who have struggled to manifest and bring your world into the way you want to, if you've been struggling with not having support or having people who don't support you, this new moon is the stage where you are two hands fully supported above and below. Many of you have been on your journey feeling like you're only getting support from spirit, and in the physical world, you haven't been getting the support or the community or the people that you need below. You've got it above, right? Connecting with your guides and all this stuff. But what about below? Where are my peeps? Where are the people that I can really get me and I get them, and physical people, right? This is the rebirth and what's planting seeds and coming out. It's a birthing, right? You've all been going through a rebirth process. That's why 5 new supermoons. But we're getting support from above. And now below. One hand is you supporting you. The other hand is now coming online. And that's the physical world supporting you. Many of you have struggled with not being supported by others because you haven't supported yourself. It's kind of like the idea of, I'm willing to support other people, but I didn't support myself. And my complaint is that I don't have support. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of like a cycle idea or concept. Next one out, Blue Tara. Also card number 17. I don't know why that's significant for somebody on here, but it is. I'm being pointed out just to intuitively see this card. Notice the lotus flowers. Notice the greenery. It's a garden. I'm being reference of Taiwan or Taiwanese. There's something about a China sun. I don't know what that means. So take it as it resonates for you. Maybe there's a deeper spiritual meaning. I'm hearing, yes, there is a significant deeper meaning to that. Look at the orange, the sacral. That's the second chakra, right? The butterfly. That orange is her divining, the sacral feminine, the divine feminine down. And what's all the yellow around it? It's the personal power. We now have the personal power to plant seeds, and our power will not be moved. It cannot be moved because we're in our power, which makes your things manifest 10 times faster as well. And that power is very feminine. And blue is significant. Blue ray is throat chakra, our etheric template. This chakra energy center, the 5th, I am presence, 5th dimension. This is where you bring your entire world into a physical manifestation. So before, if you were saying all these things about yourself, like, I can't do this, and why is this not working out, and what's wrong with these people, that's literally what we've been manifesting, but it's been based on the external world impacting our internal manifestations. We've now flipped. I'm seeing one of the timer things. Oh, Deja na. I'm seeing it's like the sands of time. These are the days of our lives. It's like that, you know that soap opera, The Days of Our Lives, and they had the sand timer. I'm seeing it literally being flipped over. These are no longer the days of our lives. Shit is changing is what I'm hearing. So it's been flipped over. It's a new sands of time, right? It's a new time thing here, a new cycle. I'm hearing that's significant because it allows us to rewrite in that etheric template. That's so funny. I'll be curious to know if any of you watch those soap operas. When I was a little girl, quick story about, my grandmother's here now, and there's a reason why she's sharing this story, and it has to do with turtles, sea turtles. You remember the story of the turtle and the hare? And the turtle ends up winning the race because they took their time, one step. There's a receptivity, there's a flow, there is no rush. The turtle knows it will reach the end of the thing. The turtle crosses the finish line first. Here's where this is significant. So my grandmother, when I was a little girl, her favorite thing was to sit down, was to sit down and watch soap operas and eat turtles. Now, I want you to stop and think about this. Power moves, but cannot be moved. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with watching soap operas, but they're all about drama. They're all about pulling you in. It's all about using your time. And everything you take in that, my grandmother literally was taking in, and I was taking in, like, oh, life is supposed to be dramatic, and it's supposed to be this, and it's supposed to be that. And it's like, oh, well, I need to watch other people's lives so that I can understand how my life will work. Turtle chocolates, yes. But the truth is, that was my power being moved. I wasn't in my power. It was being moved and shaped and molded with a certain paradigm. And I don't know why it's coming through like this, but we're switching. The days of our lives are no longer the days of our lives anymore, right? We are all up in creating our own world, which means I would much rather go and get a massage than watch a damn soap opera. And side note, this is funny. Don't you guys agree that you could stop watching a soap opera and pick it up 2 years later and it's still the damn same story and the same drama? That's been the earth plane. Stop and think about it. We've moved out of this same story, same drama, whether it was last year, 10 years ago, or 10 years now. It don't matter because it's the same looping pattern. So as turtles, most of us have been moving through as turtles, I guess you could say, because they have such profound wisdom. Think about the rings on the top of the shell. The turtles are moving slowly but surely. And where you think you haven't made progress, you've made significant progress. That's why we're at this new moon. The days of our lives have changed. That's what I want to say. Here's what else is interesting. The other deck, also card number 17. And it's herb crafting. It says, allow your roots to dive into the depths. Your spirit is calling you for grounding. How do we ground? I get that question a lot, and it's really important, especially when you're on all these emotions coming up, all these shifts and changes. It's so important to be grounded. But what's grounding? You have to be embodied to ground, right? We kind of miss that piece of it. Oh, I'm going to go put my feet on the grass. Oh, I'm going to do this. You know what's extremely grounding? Moving in your body, getting a massage, running, physical exercise. Like, we have to be able to embody our energy to actually ground it. Now think about this. If this is our fertile land and we've been drawing in our creations above, drawing them down in as feminine, and our lower energy chakras has been distorted, imbalanced from trauma. Maybe we've been fractalized because of stuff that's happened in our earthly chakras on the earthly plane, and there's nobody who hasn't experienced that. How are you going to ground your energy if these are imbalanced, blocked, all these different things here? Do you see why we've been working on internal healing our own wounds, healing the things of our past? When we ground, we have to embody our own energy. And if you haven't felt safe to embody your own energy because of external experiences, how could you possibly ground? You would always have trouble with grounding. And that's just it, right? Most of us don't feel safe enough to be in our body until we've done enough work. We feel confident, we're in our power. And then it's like, hold on, I am safe to be here. I don't got a parent or somebody over here that's bigger than me, or this over here that's going to clobber me. No, this is you, right? It's that grounded embodiment. And that's also why this fifth super new moon, your seeds are so potent, because you've all done the work to be able to ground them and embody them, receiving the manifestation before you've even planted the seed, planting the seed already with the receptivity in play. And that's what makes this moon so powerful. I really feel like I need to pull from one other deck. I know what it is. Hold on. I found this random card. No joke. I found this random card sitting on the desk right before I hopped on to the call. And it says greenhouse number 23 also breaks down to a 5. It says, may it be clear the intentions I sow in preparation for my path ahead. That's why it's so powerful. We're 10 times more clear. We're safe in our body. We've embodied our highest dreams, wishes, goals, whatever it is, with more clarity, less wounding, more embodiment. And I'm going to bet most of you are having bigger dreams, bigger goals, drop-ins of bigger visions. Maybe there's something you've been doing for a while or had an idea, and you've suddenly realized that if I tweak it like this, it's this whole other world. When you manifest with this kind of clarity, as an open channel, being able to embody it and actually root it because you feel safe to do it and you feel powerful enough to do it, you recognize your I am presence. Anything is possible. That's when all these magnificent things come in. And it's such a beautiful energy. And I want you to notice, I'm being pointed out, my daughter Ava says, look at the greenhouse. Is that not what we do with our tender sprouts when we're just in the beginning stages? What does a greenhouse do? It amplifies the sunshine. It amplifies the focus. It's like I'm watching the greenhouse be filled with the condensation, which then drops back down, re-nourishes the plants, which is part of the why they're doing them. It's like an incubation phase at the beginning of it. And I feel like that is such a perfect, potent card. What are the chances that that was just randomly sitting out on the desk right before this call? And I looked at it and I was like, man, that's new moon energy. But then I left it there. So I'm glad I went and grabbed it. This is the one I was told to get. It's from the In Bulk deck. Think about the body, sweating, condensation, embodiment, physical activity, being really grounded in the body. We take in water to nourish us. We sweat it out, right? We take in more water, but it's still nourishing us. It's all part of the cycle. It's all part of the process. And I'm just being told that this new moon specifically is highly amplified. It's very potent energy, and all energy is potent. But this is focused, and we have a new fertile land we're planting it in, and the seeds are much more powerful, bigger, clearer. The harvest is already in the seed, and it's been coated in stardust, and you are the perfect landscape to grow your garden from. It is not outside of you. You're growing it from within you. For the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that there's been a lot of focus and attention to the body, particularly the feet. Here's why. I always feel like people have weird things about feet. You know, my feet have calluses, or I didn't get a pedicure, or that person has ugly feet and that person has beautiful feet. That person's feet are really wide. That person's feet are really dainty. Like, there's all these things about feet. And what are feet in a spiritual sense? They're the soles of your soul, embodied on the earth plane. If this is my soul star chakra up here, and I'm drawing down this divinity and I'm embodying that divinity wholly and completely, all the way down through the soles of my soul, to plant it on the earth plane, to embed and anchor that light energy onto the earth plane. We didn't come here to live life as it is. Maybe you did. I didn't. I came here to create the life I want to live. And there's many people on the earth plane who live the life that's here as it is. This is clearly messages for people who are here to create the life they want to live. There's a distinct difference. And I've done both, right? We've all done both. We've all done that, right? Think about it. You have to kind of be in that stage first of living life as it is in order to go through the processes and phases and stages to begin to create the life you would like to live. So that's part of the process as well. But the soles are the soles and the feet. I'm also being referenced of this. The feet are the most dismissed, not thought of, kind of put over there. They're like the last thing you think about. They don't get the credit they deserve, because guess what? That low, humble foot that we all don't pay that much attention to take them for granted is like to take your foundation for granted. The soles of your soul. There's so much more to that, but I'm not going to, I don't feel like I need to go there. But I do feel like I need to say, love on your feet, my friends. They're very spiritual and they're very sacred, and they are, I'll share this with you. I kind of look at it as your feet probably have taken the most beating of any body part in your physical incarnation, because they're carrying everything. And they're carrying everything until you lay down and give them a rest, right? Think about when we sleep, we're not on our feet. That's the time our feet replenish. Where do we release energy? Out through our feet, down through Mother Earth, down through the feet. What do we do in clearings? What do we do in Reiki? We work on the feet. What did Jesus do? He washed the feet of the disciples, I believe is the story. Forgive me if that's not quite how that aspect is in the Bible, but there is something very sacred and humbling about feet. They are the souls of our soul that carry us and allow us to bring down that soul manifestation, to literally embed it, anchor it, root it on the earth plane so it can flourish back up within us. It's kind of like drawing the energy down the chakras. Think about the flow of energy, the Taurus fields, all those different energy, magnetic fields, electromagnetic fields, and our subtle energy bodies. We're drawing this divine life force energy chi down. We're rooting it down, and it's coming all the way back up and through us, right? It's that cycle. Same with the breath, following the cycle. Don't forget your feet. Breathe into your feet. That's what I'm hearing. Breathe into your feet. Take care of your feet. Love thyself. Love thy body. It is the vehicle that is required for you to be able to manifest the life you want and plant these seeds. It's also the souls of the soul where everything will take root from. Don't forget the very bottom. Don't forget your feet. That's really humbling. It feels really humbling. I don't know why, but it does. The lower chakras, it's not just like the main 13 chakras. There's all these other pieces. And it reminds me of the meridians, Chinese medicine. I don't know what that is. I'm seeing like charts of bodies. It's almost like the acupuncture and showing the different flows or connectivities of energy from one space to another and how one affects another. It's very strategic. It's very structured. And there's literally blueprints of our energetic meridians, spots, places, and all the interconnectivity that's available for all of us to Google and research. I too have been very, very drawn in the last few weeks to Chinese medicine, the different meridians, the pulse points, how the energy naturally flows in the physical body, and those different modalities. It's a very physical. Now let's fast forward, or rather backtrack, bringing it full circle. This new moon is in Taurus, which is very material, very physical, very sensual, and very powerful energy. That's the energy of Taurus. Taurus knows how to really make a physical, beautiful, luxurious space that they like when they're in balance and in their power. They are really, really good at that. They're also very good. Yes, they can be stubborn, but who can't be, regardless of what your sign is? They're also very good at the I'm the power and power moves as I choose. But power cannot be moved by external forces. That's also what we've been embodying, so that external forces don't negatively impact our manifestations and move us, so that we can be the one that moves the manifestation in divine timing with our own soul and our own energy. I hope that you enjoyed this new moon channel. Let me know if it resonates with you in the comments. Let me know if you've been feeling this peace that you've been cultivating, and this lightness and this ease and flow and alignment. And of course, if you wish to connect with me for a private session or join our 21-day spiritual expansion and really get anchored in your own alignment piece and tapped in with your divine connection, please find the link to my website in the video description box below. And I will see you in the next video.